It is the oldest surviving epic poem in the English language, a primal scream from the misty dawn of a nation. Its name is Beowulf. The story is etched in our minds. A great glittering mead hall named Heorot, the heart of a Danish kingdom, is haunted by a monstrous terror. Grendel, a fiend from the fens who stalks the night, slaughtering the king's best warriors. Then from across the sea comes the hero, Beowulf, a Geatish warrior of superhuman strength who meets the monster in the dark and rips its arm from its socket. He descends into a hellish mere to slay Grendel's vengeful mother. And years later, as an old king in his own land, he faces his final doom, a fire-breathing dragon guarding a cursed hoard of gold. It is the archetypal hero's journey, a saga of man against monster. But what if the monsters are not the real story? What if they are shadows cast by far more human fears? Prepare to journey beyond the battlefield as we deconstruct the epic of Beowulf to uncover the truth about the society that dreamed it into existence. Let's look again at the first monster, Grendel. The poem describes him as a descendant of Cain, the first murderer. He is an outcast, a border stalker, forever barred from the world of men. He is driven to a frenzy by the sounds of joy and fellowship coming from the mead hall, the singing of the bard, the laughter of warriors. To the Anglo-Saxons, the mead hall was everything. In the dark, cold, and dangerous world of early medieval Europe, the hall was the warm, beating heart of a fragile kingdom. It was the symbol of community, loyalty, order, and safety. Grendel is the personification of everything outside that ring of light. He is chaos. He is exile, the worst possible fate for a member of this society. He is the unknown that lurks in the swamps and the darkness. Was Grendel just a monster? Or was he a powerful allegory for a very real threat? To a small kingdom, a rival tribe launching a devastating night raid on their main settlement would have felt like a monstrous, inhuman attack. Grendel could be the specter of intertribal warfare, the faceless enemy who comes to shatter your community. He is the fear of the outsider, the ultimate other, whose only goal is destruction. Beowulf's victory is not just killing a beast. It is the restoration of order, the triumph of community over chaos. Now consider the dragon. This is not an external threat. Beowulf is an old king. His realm has been at peace for 50 years. The dragon is ancient, sleeping on a hoard of treasure left by a long-dead civilization. It awakens only when a single, desperate man steals a golden cup from its hoard. Its rage is not personal, it is elemental. It unleashes fire and destruction upon Beowulf's kingdom. This final battle is a far more complex allegory. The dragon is a symbol of the corrosive poison of greed. In the heroic code of the Anglo-Saxons, a good king was not a hoarder of wealth, he was a ring giver. His power and his warriors' loyalty depended on his generosity, on the constant distribution of treasure won in battle. The dragon does the opposite. It sits on its gold uselessly, jealously, and its presence ultimately brings ruin. It is a stark warning against avarice, a force that can destroy a kingdom from within. But the dragon is also something more profound. It is fate. It is weird. It is the enemy that even the greatest hero cannot ultimately defeat. Beowulf knows he will likely die facing the dragon, but he goes anyway. This is the core of the Germanic heroic code, a grim, courageous acceptance of one's doom. The dragon is old age, the decay of time, and the inevitability of death. Beowulf's final tragic victory is a testament to the idea that true glory lies not in living forever, but in how you face your end. This brings us to the heroic code itself. The poem is a masterclass in the values that held this warrior society together. Courage, honor, and above all, loyalty. The bond between a lord and his warriors, known as comitatus, was sacred. Warriors pledged to die for their lord, and in return, he provided them with protection, wealth, and a place in the mead hall. We see this code in action throughout the poem. Beowulf's men wait for him at the edge of the monster's mere. And in the final battle, when all but one of his terrified warriors abandon him, the poem bitterly condemns their cowardice. The one loyal thane, Wiglaf, who stands with his king, is held up as the true heir to the heroic ideal. Was this reality? Or was it an exaggeration, a piece of powerful social programming? The poem likely presents an idealized version. In reality, loyalties shifted and betrayals were common. But by creating an epic that so powerfully celebrated this code, the poem served as a blueprint for leadership and a tool for social cohesion. It told kings how they should behave, be generous, be brave, and it told warriors where their duty lay. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a cultural instruction manual. So why does this violent pagan-era poem survive? It was written down sometime between the 8th and 11th centuries by Christian monks. They saw in this old tale of monsters slaying a powerful narrative that resonated with their own worldview. They saw Grendel, the descendant of Cain, as a symbol of sin. They saw Beowulf, the selfless hero who sacrifices himself to save his people, as a Christ-like figure. They preserved it, adding a Christian gloss to a deeply pagan story. In doing so, they gave the emerging nation of England its first great work of literature. Beowulf became a foundation myth, a narrative lens through which the turbulent birth of a nation could be viewed. It is a story of a hero who brings order out of chaos, who unites a people against external threats, and who embodies the ideals of courage and self-sacrifice. The monsters of the poem may have been allegories for the fears of a bygone age, but the struggles they represent are timeless. The fight to protect community from chaos, the battle against the internal poison of greed, and the defiant courage in the face of our own mortality. These are the real treasures in the dragon's hoard.